Comrades, we have a problem of corruption here. Lezinja ze-ANC ziyatshontsha everywhere. Ziyatshontsha everywhere. Ungena kumasipala bayatshontsha. Ungena ku-department bayatshontsha. Even khona la e-college kuyatshontshwa khona la. I-SASCO itshontsha no-management bayasebenza together bayatshontsha. We must stop corruption. The EFF Student Command is the only solution to all of you here. It is the only one that can stop corruption. You know, every time you are marching, you are burning tires, which is a diary, which is a hall, which is a clinic, which as funi mayor, as funi councillor. Mabakipi councillor, they bring another person from the same party. Mabakipi mayor, they bring the same person from the same party. And they are jabula le tai uambile mayor sine mayor enja is the same. Why? They are from the same pot. You can't say ngifuna le nyama angifuni le, from the same pot. Why? This one is nice, this one is not nice. This one has got salt, this one doesn't have salt. From the same pot. Mate hai uzuma uyatshontsha uphumile uzuma angena Ramaphosa naye uyatshontsha. Same thing. Uzuma ubasebenzisa ingane yakhe uDuduzane. Nangu Ramaphosa uyenza the same thing. Usebenzisa ingane yakhe uAndile. Why? They are from the same pot. You can't say, now we have a president, we have a new president, let's all be happy. We have a new president, but the pot is the same. Why? Corruption is institutionalized. Maba Mosha, municipality, let us some funa lo mayor. The mayor goes to parliament. Baba Moja Saifuna le councillor, he goes to Marisburg legislature. How can you stop corruption? Because those who are coming after, they know that there was a mayor here who was caught stealing, but he's not in prison. Okupi a parliament. Name, if they find me stealing, bazom promote near parliament. A corruption in the ANC. If you want promotion, you must be the most corrupt who promote you. But if you go and you don't steal, and you don't hire your families, and you don't sleep with people for jobs, you can't get promotion. Mautufunu msebenzi kumasipala wafunu lala now. They even brag about it. Uguti I mean I'm petty 5, omunyanti petty 7. You can't get a job.
But there is another thing that stands on the path of Africa: corruption. You know, charged the wife and he was convicted and sent back to Nigeria. When he went back to Nigeria, he became the governor of the Delta State. Africa's affinity for electing thieves into public office is legendary. He then stayed, having stolen in Nigeria. He wanted to buy a private jet, and he made the mistake of going to Dubai. He was arrested in Dubai. He was taken to England and he was convicted, him, his wife, and his girlfriend. He served his term and was released early in the year, and he wants to contest again in Nigeria. Recently, the former Minister for Petroleum in Nigeria, Ms. Mbeki, who is now being indicted in London, in Italy, and possibly in the United States, had 37 flats seized in Nigeria alone. Many of you may have one flat which you are struggling to pay mortgage every month. You receive orders that you are going to have the thing taken. Mbeki had 37. You have 14 regions in Namibia. He could distribute to every region one flat, and still she has others. That kind of primitive accumulation is what is killing Africa. We must tell Africans, as Mwalimu Kambarage Nyerere said, that the privilege and honor to serve is not a privilege to steal and to engage in thievery. You know, many leaders in Africa have nice retirement packages. You don't need to steal. You don't need to steal at all. You only need to serve in dignity. Zambia's David Kaunda, when he died, had only 8,000 equivalent dollars in his account after 24 years in office. $8,000 only. That is pocket change for one of your councillors here in Namibia. That is what they use for lunch by our government ministers in several African countries. Primitive accumulation. The writer in the New African says that he looks forward to the day when Africans shall liberate themselves from corruption, so that Africans may say, like the man in the Bible says of death, "Oh corruption, where is thy sting? Where is thy sting?" I look forward to those days. Unfortunately, a number of African countries are beginning to move in that direction. You go to Botswana. Ian Khama is doing a good job. Ministers are getting jailed. There is something that we are fond of in Africa called civic education. People know that corruption is wrong. So you educate them, and after you have educated them, they wonder what is wrong with you. The best civic education is to arrest one or two cabinet ministers, take all their property and send them to jail. And that is enough civic education protection. Because the people will know that there are no sacred cows. In Rwanda, Kagame is sending them to jail. In Tanzania, John Pombe Magufuli is sending them to jail. We need a few cabinet ministers in jail. We need a few members of parliament in jail. Not because we are scientists, but because to whom much is given, much is accepted. We are telling people, lead by example. And we are telling you, as I conclude, the young men who are here, and the young women who are here. Mwalimu Kambarage Nyerere said that when you are looking for leaders, look for the following qualities, or the following things in those who want to be leaders. Do they love power for its own sake? If they do, reject them. Do they love popularity for its own sake? If they do, reject them. Do they love property for its own sake? If they for its own sake, if they do, reject them. Do they love pomposity for its own sake? If they do, reject them. In my view, African leaders must now be liberated from the feeling that they must have all these trappings of power. First lady, I'm very happy with you. In many African countries, being the first lady, there would have been men and women who think we are murderers in this assembly because they are protecting you. Why should you be protected from your people? You have come in simplicity. I encourage you to continue.
I've been in 4 major cities in the world. I was in Beijing, and then London, then Lagos, and Abuja. In Beijing, we went there for a very interesting discussion at the invitation of the Communist Party of China. And you know, the Communist Party of China invited us and other people from around the world to discuss an important issue. It was a bit startling for us as Africans. They wanted us to discuss the issue of corruption in ruling parties. Now, this is a ruling party of China. And they said, let us meet to discuss this matter of corruption in ruling parties. And we, the Chinese, are going to tell you about corruption in our party. And they did. They brought all sorts of people to explain what was happening with this corruption and its impact in terms of political governance, in terms of economic development, in terms of everything. It was a fascinating discussion. And indeed, and as I say, the topic was corruption in the ruling party. Now, none of us, certainly the Africans who were there, we didn't talk about that as far as our ruling parties are concerned. We're quite happy to comment on what the Chinese Communist Party is. I'm mentioning it because it was fascinating that they have that kind of courage to look at themselves and to say, but here is a problem which is impacting negatively on everything that we're trying to do in China, and therefore we must address it openly. They even brought members of the judiciary there because they explained what the party itself is doing to fight corruption in its ranks, but how the state, also the courts, the police, and so on, interact with that to ensure that the state system is not intimidated by the fact of the ruling party to say that this is a member of the Politburo and whatever, and therefore they are untouchable. But for the party to be saying to the state organs, if we, the Communist Party, are fighting this thing against our own membership, the responsibility of the state are according to the law. And you can't say, because these are people who are high in the party and government and so on, are therefore untouchable. Now, I don't know if this is going to be part of your program of action tomorrow. Because indeed, that is an important challenge on our continent. I think if we look around throughout the continent, it really will be very difficult to find a ruling party that has no corruption in it. I think it would be extremely difficult. That would challenge everybody. Obenawa was challenging people to raise their hands. I'd ask anybody to tell me one ruling party on the continent that's not touched by corruption. And I know there's no hand that's going to go up. It's an important challenge because of its impact. It's bad in itself, but it has an impact on all of these things we're trying to do. This invention of the future and then this change of the status quo Is this one of the matters on which the Alumni Forum should focus? But certainly, for those of us who were in Beijing, we found this a very important challenge, and drew great inspiration from the fact that the Communist Party of China could so openly and consistently discuss this matter, including mentioning names. I think at that point when we were there, that's 3.5 weeks ago, the highest person at that point that had been caught in the party system, and the party was dealing with this, was a member of the Central Committee, was responsible for intelligence throughout China. And so they were saying this person involved in corruption in the following way, and therefore the party must take whatever disciplinary action it does, and later the state organs would also take their own actions. I'm giving that as an example of the challenge that this Alumni Forum is going to face, to identify what are these interventions we want to make on the continent. And I'm saying that they won't be easy if we want to be as effective as we indeed need to be effective.